I think I need a little break from building inside of the village. But we stay close. You see, I was already a little bit active. I heard a zombie somewhere, but don't see it. I chopped down some trees to get a little basic pathway outside of the village, all the way down to the river. And there on the other side, we're going to build another mud farm. Why, you ask? We already have one in this world, true, but the mud farm we already have is back at our home base, or like at our home village, and we have a clay farm here, and we have a wheat farm here, so I don't want to have to fly back and forth if we need mud for the clay farm, or if we want to do mud bricks, and then we need to think of the wheat and of the mud and whatever. So this one will be a little bit smaller. So, and actually what we can also use then a mud farm for will be also for a concrete farm, which is a block I haven't used at all or so far in this world, but maybe we should in the future. So I don't want just to build the mud farm and to build over there. I want to build a bridge that we can go over the river without wet feet, without to swim, without to jump in and out of a boat, just having a nice bridge to the farm, which also is the first time for me. I haven't built a bridge yet, so let's just try to keep it simple, to keep it nice, to keep it straight, just from the pathway, one little bridge to the other side of the river. And I also been thinking about like how should a bridge look like. So I just used the Tobs here to get a feeling and understanding on how far and where everything needs to be. Like the pillars and the spacings we need, but I brought some deep slate with me because maybe it's just me, but I think adding some deep slate on the ground, especially in the water or just slightly above the water, I think stone does have different color in water, so let's just use then some deep slate, and I have cobbled deep slate and a regular deep slate that I can mix the pattern just slightly. Yeah, I think that's working. But then once we are above the water, we need different stone. So I don't have it in my inventory. Let's go back and grab it. Like regular stone and stone bricks. Do we have moss with us? No. Just some tough. Yeah, we can use some tough as well, but we will have to go back to the village later then to also get some moss, because I also believe having deep slate as kind of like a wetter stone variant, that's totally fine, that's okay. But also like adding moss and mossy stone variants would just also make sense for a bridge that is just weathered all the time. So again, there is somewhat of a purpose or a reason behind why I built something, but then it's also a lot of just randomness, try and error, see what works, how it blends in, how it looks the way I want it to have. So that's why it's just trying out. Might be the best shout. And also I don't, maybe I should, I don't know, you tell me, but I don't go to any creative worlds and trying it out. For me it's just, it doesn't work to me, because whenever I'm in survival, it feels different to build. You cannot fly around, you have just the blocks you have to build with, and I rather do some errors in this world and have to rebuild it like we did in the last episode for the barn, rather than having this clean house in creative, and then in survival it just feels different and it's not really applicable for me to build it. I think we can accept this pillar for now. But the top of the pillar on the bridge, I don't want to have stone. We need to make sure that there's enough light. So if we already have a pathway with a bridge to the mud farm from the village, then I also don't want to have any mobs that can spawn. So I also think it's another cool way to break up the pattern. By adding some wooden parts to it as well, but even though it's Minecraft and it could flow a lot, it should somewhat feel like you could build this in the real world as well. It would work. So we need some support below it. So I think we did that with the spruce stairs, but I think instead of the trapdoors next to it, I like the trapdoors below, but we could probably then use something else. Let's see what we really need here. No, I'm somewhat not happy with that. We should just get some spruce shelves first. There we go. Place them here on the outside. That looks way better. That's better with this trapdoor on top. Yeah, I like it better. It just breaks it up a little bit more. Then we can place the spruce wood in the middle here, strip it. Then add the fences. Then also for the lanterns. this lantern here so that we don't get in the way. Let's go a little bit further away. So from this far away, I actually like it. Oops. And from the outside, if we would travel by boat, yeah, I think it looks good to me. So let's build that 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 more times so that we have total 5. Perfect. And at the end of the bridge, I want to have a little fire burning. And do I like this one more than a campfire? I think because a campfire would, with a campfire we would have so much more. Whoa! Have you already seen a black dog, wolf? Yeah, back to the fire. So with the netherrack, there is no smoke. A campfire would add so much smoke, and I like it more. So now let's make our way down from the bridge to an island. Might be the wrong word, right? It's not an island that we have here, just to the other side of the river. And still, even though we have the bridge that we can take by feet if we come from the village, I also want to have a little dock in front of the mud farm, so if for whatever reason a traveler or we arrive by boat, we can also just boat here, have a nice little place, and then use the mud farm or go by feet. And as we did with the deep slate, I also really like to add some dark oak and strip it here, because also just to show somewhat of like, hey, there's some, the wood who gets wet has just a different color than outside, and then just it can change over time. To me, that's just these little details. They're somewhat. I think they make a difference. I'm not sure if it's that important, but I think it just changes a build or a place slightly. Not always visible, but it changes. Like. As it should. So. Do we fill that up, or should we leave it empty? We fill it, right? Let's see how it looks from the side. Perfect. I think this could be the way to go, but I think we made the platform a little bit too small, because if we have the fences here, then it's just one little space that we could use, and the stairs are somewhat too wide then, so let's make the platform bigger on both legs. Switch the pillars in position. No, you're disturbing me. I'm building. I didn't have to delete that one actually. Yeah, we need to place one here as well. Go down here. 1, 2. The dark oak logs back. And up. Perfect. So the bridge and the dock is ready. Means let's go start building the mud farm. I think it will look good in the end. I really like the spot. So I played around a little bit with the outline, where the build should be, where the functional part will be in, and also where the mud then should go to collect. But I think that's too close. We need more space. So the build to cover up the functional part needs to be bigger. And then we have 1, 2, 5 blocks. So then it should be on the 4th block. Should be the pistol. No, on the 5th. The 5th block should be the pistol. And then for whatever reason I like to place stone whenever I use redstone. I don't know. I'm not even sure if it really makes a difference between dirt and stone, but for me it's just easier to see. So we have the repeater next to the pistol on 3 ticks, and I believe I made a mistake here, so just remove the possible wall, because I think we need 1 more block as space. And then I don't need stone, I need a barrel behind the repeater. A redstone dust here. 1 behind the pistol. And then cover it up with solid blocks. And then we need the dropper with a hopper going into it and a double chest. This is where the dirt will go. So the basic setup should be ready. And yeah, as I said, I'd rather have stone than just dirt, so change that. And just now I realize I did it wrong. So I went, my first calculations were right, so I was off by 1 block behind. So let's do it again. But since I just did it, so it will be way easier and faster to do with the pistol. Repeater on 3 ticks, redstone dust here, the barrel behind the repeater, and then a redstone dust behind, and the solid block there. So the walls that I calculated initially, they were right, so you can come back to them and reuse them. So the dropper, the hopper and the double chest on top. this will then, if I fill that up with dirt, whenever I use the mud farm, then this will automatically give me, or like drop me dirt, so I don't need to have much dirt in my inventory when coming to the mud farm. It's actually pretty cool. So now let's build the water bottle filling system. That we don't need to fill water bottles manually all the time. Have the dispenser here with the hopper going into it. And for the water bottles, or at least for the empty bottles, we go for a little trip. You see the floating monolith on the right? That's just Minecraft build. Well, we might transform it in future. This could be a pretty cool build next to our witch farm. And if you're not aware of witch farms, not even do witches drop a lot of redstone, which are pretty handy. And let's see if there's a witch in it that we could. So they don't just drop redstone. Hello to the swamp clan. Redstone dust, along with a lot of other handy material. They also drop glass bottles. So we don't need to smelt sand and build it for ourselves, because we need a lot of glass bottle. In total, actually, 13.5 stacks of empty bottles and then 9 filled bottles. So just prepare my inventory for that. Pretty nice to come back to the witch farm. It's always a joy. I spent so much time here building that, but it was so worth it. And we can fly back, and the creeper farm with the hot air balloon always work as a waypoint for us to know where our home village is. And whenever we come from the witch farm, we know if we need to go left or right. And in our case, it's to the left, where we will cross our pathway. This will look so nice once we really build that completely. Just above the mining outpost. And then we see the hot air balloon, the AFK platform for the ominous bottle farm. And we know we're on the right track. Fly over the Lumberjack Village. And just... that was a high jump. Land on our bridge. And you see I already filled up the bottles. Yeah, I mean, there will be something of grinding that out, but also I just like to be able to have farms that provide me with the supplies I need. So let's fill up the dispenser with the empty bottles and then also the hopper behind. So we have 13.5 stacks of empty bottles. Then we place on top of the hopper another dispenser, and there we place the 9 filled bottles eventually. Perfect. And then I use furnace to round up the water bottle filling system, just because they have the same structure or texture than the dispenser. So we then covered it up and filled it with water, and if we test it out, it just works perfect. You see, we place the dirt, it will get pushed by the piston. Let's change that to stone here, just that we know where we are. And then the dirt gets converted into mud. And you could usually, actually you could also use the mud farm for a concrete farm. So if you place concrete powder, it will get crafted or transformed, or the right word is, into concrete. But we don't just want to be able to do 8 muds and then have to collect it again. So on the other mud farm that we have in our home village, we have a cube maker, so that I think it's 4 blocks high and then 8 long. But I don't want to make it this big here, so we just have these 8 pistons. And whenever the mud reaches the furthest point, the mud gets pushed forward. So I already tested it, but for you also to see as a showcase, it works perfectly. Then I filled the whole possible place so that I know like where I need to build. And now we're off to building the house to build around. You see on the right, it was like the color palette. I started to decide how it should look. There was just a creeper spawning there. So I started with the foundation, but it feels there's something missing. Lately I really tried to have like this different boxes, so the houses are just not one box. But this time I would like to add a little tower here, just to also to create a little variation from the other buildings. So no idea if this will work out, but let's try. Let's see how it looks. Hard to tell, but I think it could work. So let's build the beams around, and for once I decided to have them on the outside, so it will just add some more depth to the build. And once we're done with that, I will get a feeling if the tower should stay, or if you need to do something else. So tried to play here with different heights of the build, so different part of the builds have different heights. In the middle as well, just creating like a support beam in the middle to make it a little bit more realistic, and we would strip it as mostly. Maybe we could add some dark oak there as well, as we did here on the stairs down from the bridge. let's leave it for now. What I eventually want to do, I think that the tower is working. What I want to do then on the left side to the water, I also want to add a little water mill. But before, just spend a lot of time on the interior, so it should look nice and cozy. Of course, I think cobwebs are they just part here. I spent a lot of time actually decorating and finding the right look, but I think that turned out super nice on the inside. And also started texturing on the outside as well, and I'm actually pretty happy with that result. And that's it for today. I then spent some last time on finishing details, made a roof to the mud collection system, decorated around the build. Just some little details that I tried to place all around. Oops, landed into the water. And I think it's a great build, and if you're not aware of what it is, it just looks like a build that belongs here. It could also be a fisherman's build actually, close to the river with the water mill. As you also can see, I also placed some oak and birch trees around or alongside the spruce. And we have the water mill that is just from the thought that is bringing it's kind of like keeping the mud farm in rhythm, and is providing the energy to the mud farm. I really like. I think it's a great build that we did here, and it was so nice building something outside, but it's still connected to the Lumberjack Village. It was a lot of fun building my first bridge, which I also think turned out pretty well. But that's just my opinion. I had fun, but if you stayed to watch for the whole video, thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you think of this episode, of this build, and also what you think about the Let's Play so far and about the videos. Let me know what you think I could do better. If you want to be a part of the world, then consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you around to the next one.